This is my absolute favorite dessert for Christmas dinner, a mincemeat trifle. What I really like about this dessert is it uses a combination of homemade things and store-bought things. And if you're in a pinch, you can kind of use like more store-bought things. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you can make a lot of stuff from scratch. So you need some cake. I've got a store-bought vanilla pound cake here, but you can really use any cake. I've used like regular vanilla sponge cake. I've used angel food cake. Really just something to soak up a bunch of saucy, boozy stuff. You also need mincemeat, which I have made my own quite a bit, but I didn't this year. You need Grand Marnier. You also need custard. I made this from scratch, but you can definitely use store-bought custard. And then you need whipped cream, and you need canned mandarin oranges, which is super weird. And yeah, they're not as good as fresh oranges, but for some reason, I just feel like they're the thing you need here. They're like slippery and they don't have any like skin on them. If you wanted to go in, get oranges and segment them yourself, that's totally fine. It'll be a little different, but I'm fine with it. Before we get layering, we need to cut this cake up. Now it's just a matter of assembling. Starting with a layer of cake in the bottom. You can also rip pieces up to fill in the gaps if you want really perfect layers. That's a pretty solid layer. Next is a good bath of Grand Marnier right over the cake pieces. I like to use my thumb as a bit of a stopper here. Just a sprinkle. I mean, you can use as much as you want. And if you wanted to make this booze-free, you could definitely do orange juice, mincemeat. I'm gonna put a couple of big blobs here. See how far that takes us. And whenever I'm doing anything layered, I always kind of push it all out to the outside first, so I know I get all the way out there. The next layer is the custard. This custard's pretty easy. I made it earlier today. It's just egg yolks, cornstarch, sugar, and milk. And the main thing with any custard is that you don't want to scramble the eggs. So I took the egg yolks and the cornstarch and the sugar and whisked them together first. And then I heated the milk in the microwave and then ever so slowly drizzled the milk into the yolk mixture. That'll make sure that your eggs don't scramble. Once all the milk is in, you kind of have to cook the custard until it thickens up. So you can either do that by pouring the whole mixture back into the measuring jug and heating it in bursts in the microwave, or you can keep the whole thing in a pot like I did and just whisk slowly over medium heat until the whole mixture thickens up. And it'll be like runny, 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 and then suddenly super thick. So you want to stay with it. Don't go running off doing any errands or anything. Once the custard is thickened, I just poured it back into the original measuring jug because I don't want to get too many dirty dishes going on. And I covered it with a little piece of parchment paper just so that it didn't form a skin, and then just chilled it in the fridge for a while. Like I made it this morning and this is evening now, so at least a few hours I'd say until the custard is fully cold. Now in with the custard. And it looks kind of lumpy, but that's just because it's cold. So you don't need a full layer of oranges, just kind of a scattering. And it is like one of the best parts because what happens is you get all this rich, custard, and then you have this snappy, kind of sweet, juicy orange to bite into. It's delicious. We ended up with 2 full layers. I'm pretty happy with how much trifle we have here. For the final layer, it's just a bunch of whipped cream. I think so many trifles end in whipped cream, right? I whipped this earlier and I added just a little bit of icing sugar and a little splash of vanilla. Not too much sugar because I don't want it to be too sweet because we've got a pretty sweet situation on the go. If you wanted a little bit more orange flavor on this, you could grate a little orange zest over it, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. So nice. Look at that. All right, so that's it. That's my family's favorite mincemeat trifle. Oh, I love it so much. What are we gonna do with all this?